You have fallen.
Hey everyone, this is Spider-Fan 101. I'm here today to review the newest episode of Big Hero 6. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking right now. Hey, why is this review a day late? Now, look. I saw the episode live yesterday. I always watch Big Hero 6's series live as soon as it airs. I set my alarm for 8 o'clock. And then I wait until 9 for the show to come on, and then I watch it live. That's what I always do. As much ratings as the show can get, I'm going to give it to it. Yesterday was different, because I went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp yesterday. Great movie, by the way. And the movie started at 10. So, I had to go immediately after I watched the episode, so I didn't have time to review it. And while I was out there, I managed to get this. The first ever DVD for Big Hero 6's series. So now, I have both of them. Both the movie and episodes of the series. As a hardcore fan of Big Hero 6, I am very happy right now. And I was in the middle of a Big Hero 6 marathon until I was like, you know what? I gotta get this review done before I continue. So, you know what? Let's do it. So, the cruise ship goes by. Alistair Cray's looking through these binoculars. Looking for people to give him the chip. Because he got a chip off the black market that has fortune in it. AKA money. So, he's talking with his assistant. Then, this torpedo looking thing is coming through the water. Then it stops, opens up, reveals this mechanical hand thing that has the chip. So while this is happening, these adrenaline junkies named the Mad Jacks, which Mad Jacks, they should be called the adrenaline junkies because that's what they are. They see this. And they're like, let's go guys, come on, let's get that chip for this evil mastermind that we work for, yeah! So, they're on their way there, and while this is happening, Hiro and Baymax, sorry, let me put my phone over here. That's better. So, Hiro, Baymax, and Fred are patrolling the city, and Hiro notices that there are 3 figures in the fog where the water is. So, Hiro and Baymax go to investigate this. The Mad Jacks are attacking the boat. And they're after the ship. Now, and they're basically toying with the boat, putting cables around it, blasting it. And Hiro and Baymax come in. They fight the Mad Jacks. They get hit by the female one. They get put into the water. Baymax comes out. Hits one of them. Then one of them swoops in, grabs Hiro, straight up vultures Hiro, and lets him down. And I'm talking about like Vulture, as in Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, that scene when Vulture takes Spider-Man up into the sky and lets him go so he can follow his death. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, Baymax catches him, and they defeat the Mad Jacks. For now. They do get away. So, after that, Hiro and Baymax go to Alistair Cray and they say, okay, these bad guys are always after you. So what is it now? What is it this time? And he explains the situation with the chip and everything. At the time, Hiro is feeling a little snick. He's... I said snick. I meant sick. So Hiro is feeling sick. He's sneezing and sniffling and all that. And Baymax sees this and comes to the conclusion that he is sick. So they get out of there. And the next scene comes. Get to the school. Get to the school. Hiro is picking out his snack. He's looking at an apple. He puts it back. He gets an orange. the same time, Carmi comes in. He's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, picking what I want to eat. And she's like, no. You just touched that apple. You know how many germs you put on that apple just now? He's like, and then sneezes, and she backs away because she doesn't want to get sick. He's like, hey, Hiro's like, come on, I'm just sniffling here. So he goes to the lab. He's looking all clammy. Honey Lemon and checks his fever. Gogo says, you look like death, go home. Like, she literally says that, you look like death. So, Fred goes on this backstory on how he doesn't get sick because he got stung by this bee. And then Gogo's like, that's a flu shot, right? He's like, no, it's what my mom said, it's a bee. So we cut back to the Mastermind that we saw in Failure Mode, the episode Failure Mode, and he's looking as despicable as he always does. Turns out that he hired them to get this chip off the black market. Like that Alistair got. So they're telling him, hey, about that chip, we got stopped by Big Hero 6, so we got stopped. And the Mastermind's like, finish it. And they're like, okay. And then, what's sweet about this guy is that almost every time we see him, this side of his face glows purple. Now, I don't know what that means. I'll have to further speculate. But, that's kind of weird. So, that happened. And then, he's looking at these pictures of Hiro and Baymax, specifically Hiro. And he's like, defeated by a child. What kind of abilities do you have? And then, cut back to Hiro, and he's sneezing in his bed. And then the next scene after that, Oncast comes up to bring him breakfast, and he's sneezing. He's in sick and all that. And she's like, oh no. So she takes him to the doctor. And the doctor goes to and then the doctor, this scene is funny, because the doctor and Baymax are both calculating what's wrong with him. And the doctor's like all getting upset because Baymax keeps saying the things that the doctor is going to say. But it's just funny. But yeah, so he's giving the conclusion, Hiro, you need to go to bed. You are sick. So yeah, he ends up take it home, goes to bed, and he's like, I don't want to go to bed. I don't. But we cut back to Alistair Cray and his assistant, and he's telling her about the chip and how he spent his hard-earned money on the black market to get the chip. And she's also telling him about how much the Mad Jacks were paid to go after him. And at the same time, get back to Hiro, Gogo, Honey Lemon, Fred, and they're researching on who the Mad Jacks actually are. And then we play the theme song, which, it's got adrenaline written all over it. It's just terrible, man. But I wouldn't have that be my theme. If I were them, I would not have that be my theme song. Like, you know that theme from X-Men First Class with Magneto? Magneto's theme that they played in the end credits of First Class. If I were a villain, which I'd never be a villain, but if I were a villain, I have that as my theme. So and further researching into who the Mad Jacks are. Baymax keeps telling him, hey, you need to go to sleep. And then going back to Alistair, the Mad Jacks are still after him and the chip. So, two of them are about to fly in the window, but they splat because like, he got new windows to the point where it cannot be broken. So they go in through the floor, they get him. We realize that they took him to his ship, taking him to this ship, and he tries to escape, but he's going out. But as he was going out, he realizes that it's way up in the air. So the door closes, they pull him back in, and he's like, you better give us the chip. Our boss is crazy. He'll do things to you. So he gives them the chip, they're celebrating, and then they leave him on top of his building, hanging by his blazer. So Alistair calls Hiro, and he's like, hey, I'm going to need the help of Big Hero 6. So Fred goes out, so they go out there, and, well, except for Hiro because he's in bed, and he also can't be there because earlier on he wanted to go out there by himself and go after the Mad Jacks by himself. It was so sad. He was even going on a moped. It was really sad. And so one of them picked him up, threw him in a dumpster, and he broke his leg. So that's why he couldn't go. That's the second reason why he couldn't go. So so the Big Hero 6 go -1, and they're fighting the Mad Jacks. Wasabi and Honey Lemon are going in this taxi, and Fred is going against them. He lands on the taxi that Honey and Wasabi are on, while at the same time Gogo is fighting one of them and wins. And Baymax is like, hey, we could still do this without fighting. Hey, we could resolve this without fighting. And then the main guy is like, nope. Nope, we gotta fight. So he blasts Baymax, he lands into a building, and all of a sudden, we hear Hiro's voice. We see him all the way in the sky. The other man was like, are you crazy? But then Baymax says, that's not Hiro. Turns out, and this is one of my favorite parts of this episode, turns out that Hiro went to the lab, built a robot, and that's how he fights, which is actually incredible, and could come in handy if he ever needs it, of course. And so, oh man, so he's fighting the main guy. They go all the way up in the sky, Hiro, Baymax, and the main guy. He pulls off, Hiro pulls, and that's how he fights, which is actually incredible, and could come in handy if he ever needs it, of course. And so, oh man, so he's fighting the main guy. They go all the way up in the sky, Hiro, Baymax, and the main guy. He pulls off, Hiro pulls off the jetpack they had. The jetpack that the main guy, Alex, had. I think his name was Alex. He's falling. Baymax catches him. And then, when we think he's busted, he's like, nope. Fwah! He gets out of Baymax's grip. The other Mad Jacks save him. Hiro and Baymax go down to the ground. They're like, good job, but get rest, Hiro. Jeez. And then Hiro's like, what do you mean? I feel better already. And then we get to the craziest part of this episode. It turns out that this guy, this evil mastermind, he's pulling all the strings. He knew everything that was going to happen. Everything. Like when he had the chip. He didn't have the chip, but he had the information that was on the chip. We find out later on in this scene. And so he's walking around and he's predicting all the things that Alistair is doing. Like he says, oh, who can you trust with this chip? Nobody. And says, you know what? And Alistair says, you know what? I'm going to put this with my security team. I was like, what? And then at the very end of the episode, Evil Mastermind figures out who Hiro is. And this is a huge problem. So I hope this is resolved later on, because I have no idea what the episode is about. When I watch it live, I'm literally going in blind. I have no idea what that episode is about. So this is crazy. This guy is crazy. Now this episode was amazing. Definitely one of my favorite episodes of the season by far. And had some great developments. It had a great story. Over adrenalized villains. And more of the evil mastermind who is crazy. So I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. This episode, actually no, you know what, forget that. I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. Because this episode was incredible. Great humor. Great everything, man. This episode was great. It's got me hyped up. And I watched it 3 times. Because, like I said at the beginning of this video, I watched it live yesterday. I watched it again after I came back from Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I just watched it now recently. So, yeah. Let me know what you thought of this episode. I'm getting back to my Big Hero 6 marathon. Yeah. And I'm Spider-Fan 101 saying peace.